Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We will get started shortly. We're glad you're here tonight. All right, Kara, let's kick it off.
All right, sounds great. Good evening and welcome. I'm Kara Davis. I'm the Executive Director of Teaching and Learning at Saline Area Schools, and we are so excited to introduce you to our Young Fives and Kindergarten programs this evening. Tonight, our goal is to walk you through everything you need to know and hopefully answer all of your questions. We know that this is a big step, especially if it's your first, and our hope is to promise that your child's going to thrive, learn, and yes, eventually bring home all of the artwork you could possibly imagine. Tonight, it will feel like there's a lot of information and I'm sure a mix of excitement and angst, but we hope to reassure you that you are in very good hands. There'll be an opportunity to ask questions at the end, and information is also available online. You can find that information via the QR code that's available on this slide. And in addition, we will have the Q&A available via the webinar chat. That's listed as Q&A as one of the buttons available to you. And we're going to strive to answer those questions in real time. Before we dive in, I want to make sure to orient you to our agenda because there is so much information. This likely will be a full 60 minutes from beginning to end. We grapple with what information is most important when, so know that our hope is that the agenda is packed with the information that you most need tonight in March as you're preparing to become a Hornet. So we hope that you find every detail informative and relevant. And of course, just know that there's a lot of information. So we'll make these slides and the FAQs available to you after the webinar. We'll start with a quick look at why Saline, and then do an inside look of our Young Fives and kindergarten teams and leadership group, as well as cover some logistics, and then talk through Registration 101, and then answer any remaining questions at the end. As a part of our onboarding for Saline area schools, there's many opportunities between now and the first week of school to connect with our staff and familiarize yourselves with our building environments. So while tonight is the initial opportunity, there's also 3 building walkthroughs in May. There's an annual open house that's open to all families. This is typically the week before the first day of school. And then there is a special Young Fives and Kindergarten orientation that's dedicated to onboarding our youngest students. Typically, the first day of school, we have a scheduled orientation for our Young Fives and Kindergarten families. There's no transportation provided on this day, and it's a shorter, more abbreviated schedule. So knowing that the first day of school isn't a first day necessarily for Young Fives and Kindergartners, and that would be the second full first day of school. And those are to be determined at this point in time. Our calendar has not been finalized, but we will get those dates to you as soon as they are available. So why Saline? At Saline area schools, it's our mission to equip all of our students with the knowledge and skills they need to succeed, not just in school, but in life. And we are all about building confident, curious, and kind learners. Our vision truly is to be world-class. And yes, of course, that means high academic achievement, as well as providing exceptional education, fostering a love of learning, and making sure that every child feels valued and supported. We'd like to share with you a little bit about our mission, that we are Saline.
I am Celine.
I am Celine.
I am Celine.
I'm Celine.
We are Celine.
I am Celine.
I'm Celine.
We are Celine. I am Celine.
I am Celine.
I am Celine.
I am Celine. We are Celine.
We are Celine.
Saline is a very special place, and we're excited to share with you tonight a little bit about the starting journey for our youngest Hornets. Oops, my apologies. So in Saline, we see every child as unique, and it's our goal to meet them where they are. That's why we anchor our services in the multi-tiered systems of support to support individualized needs, while also offering a full inclusion model of special education services, as well as a robust English language program. From speech and language services to occupational therapy, social work support, and small group interventions, we truly are committed to helping every student succeed. In addition, we're committed to keeping every student safe. Keeping our students safe is our top priority. That means regular drills, school resource officers, and visitor protocols to ensure a secure learning environment. All of our visitors, and I'm sure if this is not your first child, must check in with an ID. So if you plan to pop in, make sure that you bring your driver's license and your identifying information with you. And we partner in order to make sure that our schools are safe and secure at all times. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to our supporting teams so that we can talk through how we support our newest Hornets. I'm going to turn it over to Emily Sickler, Kenyatta Hughes, and Laura Washington, our fabulous principals at each of our elementary buildings. Emily, would you like to start if you are available, and/or Kenyatta?
Absolutely. Good evening and welcome to all of our families that are attending tonight. You could have been any place you wanted to be, but you chose to be here with us tonight, which we are grateful for. My name is Kenyatta Hughes, and I am the proud principal of Pleasant Ridge Elementary. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I am Laura Washington. I am also the very proud principal of Woodland Meadows Elementary. This is my 23rd year here in Saline, and I have a daughter who attends here as well. So I know what you are all going through this evening. And so I just wanted to say a very warm welcome as a new Hornet. And I hope you learn a lot this evening. And be free to ask your questions. Thank you.
Miss Sickler is finishing up a spring concert, as we all had spring concerts tonight. She'll be joining us soon.
All right. Kenyatta, would you be willing to introduce your team, talk through your teams at the school, and introduce your representative for this evening while we're transitioning?
Absolutely. So we have currently 2 sections of Young Fives and 5 sections of kindergarten here at Pleasant Ridge. We have as our Young Fives team, Mrs. Jenny Haas and Miss Sarah Hickman. On our kindergarten team, we have Miss Julie Marion, Joanne Tork, Catherine Wallavan, Rebecca Combs, and Chandra Batterson. Tonight, representing all 3 elementary buildings as a kindergarten representative is Julie Marion. She's actually on the webinar tonight joining us for any questions. Happy to have her, and she's representing all 3 buildings tonight.
Thank you. Laura?
We have April Rauscher that is on the call with us this evening, who is representing the Young Fives department, similar to Miss Marion in all 3 buildings. And so she'll be able to talk about Young Fives and the programming there. We have currently 2 Young Five sections here at Woodland Meadows with Miss Rauscher and Helen Rodriguez. And we have 4 kindergarten sections with the teachers being Alicia Lovejoy, Kara Gall, Melissa Waltz, and Mr. Nick Ball.
Thank you. All right. So as Kenyatta said, tonight we're navigating a number of fabulous opportunities for our students. There's a handful of concerts happening at the building level, as well as a literacy night at Heritage. So we're juggling a number of things. When Ms. Stickler can rejoin us, we'll have her introduce herself and her teams as well. We're going to go ahead and keep moving for the sake of time. So Kenyatta, could you take the Young Five slide to introduce our Young Fives programming?
Absolutely. So Young Fives is available for students who will turn 5 between July 1st and December 1st. We have a wonderful website that is inclusive of our curriculum snapshots. That link is accessible to you and a great landing spot for all things curriculum. If you were to visit our website, you will go to salineschools.org, click on departments, and then academics, and then curriculum. Kind of things to expect during the day in the life of a young fiver. We have daily morning meetings, and those meetings are pretty much there for community building and social emotional learning activities. Also a part of the day for young fivers, we have extended activity time. We also rest in a young fives classroom, and we have the rotation of 5 special classes with specialized staff. And those classes include gym, art, media, music, and innovation lab. We have morning and afternoon recess for outdoor play and movement. And we have lunch in the cafeteria and snack in the classroom every day, as well as great field trips for hands-on learning experiences outside of the classroom.
Thank you. Do you want to carry on with kindergarten?
Absolutely. So with our curriculum snapshots, again, a great landing place for you to visit for all things curriculum. Our kindergarten program is designed to kind of foster curiosity, creativity, and foundational skills across subjects. We provide a comprehensive reading program to build strong literacy skills. We have everyday mathematics to develop number sets and problem solving. We also have mystery science to encourage exploration and inquiry. And we also have social studies to build an understanding of community and the world. A typical day in kindergarten, just like in Young Fives, we have a morning meeting, stressing and building community and social emotional learning activities. We also have academic learning blocks, engaging instruction in reading, math, science, and social studies. Once again, as with the Young Fivers, we also have with kindergarten specials rotation, where students attend 5 special classes with specialized teachers. Those classes being gym, art, media, music, and innovation lab. We also have recess for outdoor play and movement, and we lunch together as a grade level in the cafeteria where kids are able to be alongside their peers. Also in kindergarten, we have a short break for a healthy snack in the classroom. And we also have field trips to offer that hands-on learning experience outside of the classroom. There is no designated rest time in kindergarten built into our schedules, as our focus is on active, engaging learning throughout the day.
Thank you, Kenyatta. Laura, would you mind walking us through the expectations for students in these 2 grade levels?
Absolutely. So in both grade levels, the expectation is that students attend school every day. We know the importance of consistent attendance and our way of gaining not only academics, but also social emotional learning as well. Really important that kids are here. If they are taking the bus, it is important that they are able to sit on the bus and follow the expectations of the bus. We also expect independent toilet training, or so that they're independently going to the toilet. We want them to be able to unpack their bags, dress themselves. Now, that's not to say that we won't help them with zippers, especially around this time of year, with the snow pants, the hats, the gloves. We get all of it. We will help them through that process. But truthfully, they should be independently being able to dress themselves. sharing and take turns. We do a lot of teaching into that. So over this summer, making sure that you're highlighting that at your homes as well. And then consuming snack and lunch independently. You will know at the beginning of the year, we ask for family volunteers to come in because we are opening a lot of milk containers in kindergarten and young fives, particularly at the beginning of the year. But as students get more independent with that, it's a neat process to see.
Yeah. Thank you both so much. That's a little inside look at the who and what of our young fives and kindergartners. And we're going to transition over into some of the logistics, the needs to knows of our Hornets. So I'm going to invite Tracy Molk here to share a little bit about elementary building assignments and transportation.
Hi, thank you. My name is Tracy Mulcair. I am the transportation manager. And the first slide here will show you a picture of our elementary boundaries. Each of our buildings has an attendance boundary, and that is based on addresses. We have on the link that you were given at the beginning of the presentation for the transportation department. If you are unable to figure it out using this map, you can certainly look at the street guide, or you can absolutely call our department as well if you have questions. For transportation, we have buses available, but we only transport our students to and from that home registered address. Unfortunately, we don't have the capacity at this time to accommodate requests for daycare or going to friends or relatives' homes. Our routes are assigned on an app called My Ride K-12. Again, that link that you received will take you there. You will need to wait until you have your student's ID number once they're registered, but then we encourage you to set that up, and that is how you will see that bus assignment. All of our kiddos are assigned to a bus if they are eligible. It is still your choice whether or not they choose to ride. One of the requirements that we do have is that students need to be at that bus stop 5 minutes before that scheduled pickup time. And all of our all of our young five, kindergarten, and first grade students must have an adult meet them at the stop. We will not dismiss them from the bus without that adult there.
Great. Thanks, Tracy. I see that Emily Sickler was able to join us as she popped over from her concert that's happening at Harvest right now. Emily, I'm going to come back to who we are. If you'll take a minute to introduce yourself and your team, that would be fabulous.
Well, thank you. Yes. Hi, welcome. My name is Emily Sickler. I'm the proud principal of Harvest Elementary School, and happy that I am able to join you. I just left some beautiful singing voices of second graders, and now able to just welcome all of you who in just a couple years will be able to just see some of the wonderful experiences that you get to do as family members, like come see your students at concerts. And so those are just some of the few things that we get to do as part of the journey along the way at Celine. At Harvest, we have currently 5 sections of kindergarten and 1 section of young fives. And I just want to be able to follow suit because no matter what school you're in, we follow like similar things. Do I say all the people's names, or do I just sort of generally say, okay, great. I don't want to,
leave anybody out.
Leave anyone out. So in kindergarten, we have Nancy Zabrowski and Macy German. And I need my glasses to be just a little bit stronger. Been a long day. And Sarah Lindsay, Stacy Horvath, and Jen Strip, and Allison Mayer is currently our Young Fives teacher here at Harvest.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Now let's go back to all the great things that we're learning about here at the journey of Young Fives in kindergarten in Celine. Welcome to all of you.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to turn it over to Karen Hervey to say a little bit about our student health and school nursing services.
Hi, yes, welcome families. My name is Karen Hervey. I coordinate nursing services for Celine Schools. We have a small but mighty team of nurses here in the district, and we're here to support your student and to collaborate with other members of your school's team here at school. The slide lists a very brief summary of what school nurses do. Most obviously, we respond to acute injuries and illness during the school day, but a big part of what we do includes managing students with chronic health conditions such as diabetes, seizure disorders, food allergies, asthma. Also working with families of students that maybe have a history of severe illness such as cancer, or major surgeries such as organ transplantation. So if your child has a chronic health condition or a significant medical history, they may be eligible for a 504 accommodation plan or a health plan in the school setting. So please reach out to me if you'd like more information on how we can support your student. We're here to partner with you to help manage your child's health and medical needs at school. We also track and monitor communicable disease in school and collaborate closely with Washtenaw County Health Department. In medication management, I really wanted to talk about this piece. If your child will need to take medication during the school day, we will need a medication permission form from parents for all those medications that they would need. And if it's a prescription medication, we will also need a provider order for that. We would also need a physician order for any procedures we do at school, such as tube feedings or trach care, for example. But all that information can be found on our district health services website there. There's a link, contains a lot of additional information and also common forms that we use in the school setting. Once again, please feel free to reach out to me with any questions. I do work throughout the summer, so as we're getting close to the start of school, do not hesitate to reach out to me. But I did also want to talk a little bit about immunizations. We follow the CDC and MDHHS guidance for required childhood immunizations for the school setting. And I encourage you to reach out to your provider as well for information about those requirements. But Michigan law does require that parents or guardians provide an immunization record documenting your child's vaccines and what they have received so far. And then we're required to actually assess the immunization status of your student and report that to the health department. So we really are that reporting agency. It's really best to get in touch with your child's healthcare provider to see what they do need for school. I encourage families to reach out now. It gets very busy towards the end of the summer when people are trying to get in to see their doctor. So it's not too early to reach out and make an appointment now. If you plan to seek a medical or non-medical waiver for your child, please reach out to me directly and I can walk you through that process. But once again, the nursing team is here to support you, and we look forward to welcoming our newest Hornets to school and partnering with you for all of the health needs. Thank you so much. Oh, and there is a slide there that kind of summarizes the immunization requirements. That's also linked on the district health services website. And once again, your provider has that information as well.
Thank you so much, Karen. All right, we're going to turn it over to Larry DeAndrea to talk to you a little bit about food services available.
All right. So all the information about food service is on our website. You can learn how to deposit money into your student's lunch account. You can see what menus are being served. You can also make deposits by sending a check with your student to school, and they can turn it into their teacher. This year, breakfast and lunch, this year and last year, breakfast and lunch are free to all students. We're assuming it'll be free again next year, but the budget has not been passed for the state of Michigan yet. So once it is, we'll put something on the website. Free and reduced applications are still important and helpful for you to fill out if you qualify. When you're on our website, you'll see where you can fill it out. There's a frequently asked questions portion. You can see the income requirements. If you're inside those, you should fill out an application. And if meals are free next year, the complete meal is free. But if your student is bringing something from home and they're just wanting a milk or juice, we do have to charge for that this year at 60 cents. It'll most likely be 60 cents again next year. If you are sending lunch with your student, it's important to make sure to send things that they can open. I know a lot of times we're worried about thermoses and stuff leaking, and we put the lids on so tight that when they get to school, no one can get them off. So just make sure that it's on and secure, but you don't have to tighten it so hard that no one can get it off. And if your student has any food allergies, there's a special diet statement that is required. That's available on our website also, and your doctor needs to fill that out, and you can turn it into the school nurse, I believe, gets it. Yeah, you can turn it into the school nurse. And if you have any questions, you can find me. You can use the Just Talk, or my phone number is on the food service website.
Thank you, Larry. All right, transitioning to community education and Brian Puffer.
All right, thank you. Thanks everybody for joining us. My name is Brian Puffer. I'm the Community Education Director. I just want to go over a couple things here. We have before and after care spots at our elementary schools. As you can see, we have 36 spaces for the AM, 50 for the PM. And as always, we're hiring. So if anyone knows interested in working, please let us know. We are licensed by the state for ages 5 to 12. It's not available to families until children turns 5, and that's a state requirement. Our 25-26 school year registration opens on May 18th at noon. Our current families have priority registration, and then returning openings are filled on a first come, first served basis, and that is on May 25th at noon. Summer camp registration opens April 6th at noon. And again, current families will have priority registration for that as well. And then again, remaining open spots will be on a first come, first served basis starting on April 13th. We're very aware summer camp is popular. It fills very quickly. We do our very best to accommodate as many kids as we possibly can, but to keep the program safe. You can find all their information regarding before and after care registration, summer camp registration at that link right there. That'll take you to everything. And then at the very bottom is Lisa Barrio. He's our wonderful latchkey director, before and after care director. He can answer any questions you have. If you have questions tonight, feel free to put them in the chat and I'll do my best to answer them.
Thanks. And Brian, can you clarify the April 6th versus April 13th registrations?
Yeah, April 6th is for returning families for summer camp registration. And then April 13th is for new families.
Thank you so
They're
much.
first come, first served. Yep.
All right. And then to cover some additional programming.
Yeah, Safety Town registration. So if you're not familiar with Safety Town, it's an education program geared for pre-kindergarten children going into kindergarten or first grade. We cover pedestrian safety, police officers, bicycle safety, riding a school bus, safety at home and play, fire safety, stranger danger, seatbelts, and water safety. And so it's a very popular program. Our registration opened up today. We have a session in June and a session in July. We have an AM session and a PM session. This year, that program will be taking place at Liberty School. So again, our registration site's the same for everything. So registration did open today. We do have spots in all of them, but I do encourage you to sign up sooner rather than later. Summer camps, we do have camps for kindergartners. A couple of them on there. You can see Little Dribblers basketball, some art camps, mad science. Summer registration opens on April 2nd. So we do try to accommodate our little ones. So we try to have camps for them as well. And then during the school year, we'll have, as you can see there, after school programs, drawing, basketball, soccer, and etc. Please follow us on Facebook or Instagram. Just search Sling Community Ed. We post daily on what we're doing here and all the fun things that we do. And again, stress enough, that registration link at the bottom will take you to our page, which takes you to everything I just discussed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brian. And I want to take this moment to pause before we move on, because I know it's a lot of information and it moves at somewhat rapid fire. So if you do have questions and you haven't utilized the Q&A yet, please, I want to point your direction back to that inside of the webinar. It's a really helpful tool, and we will be posting the questions asked this evening alongside of other frequently asked questions alongside of the slide deck after this webinar for your information after the fact. So please utilize that if you have any questions. We are answering them in real time, or at least striving to, and we'll do our best to get those answers to you. Because the next step is that registering to become a Hornet. So this is going to be registering 101. And I'm going to turn it over to Sarah Ann Nelson and Mandy Rucky, our district registrars.
Hi there, I'm Sarah Ann Nelson, and Mandy Rucky is here as well. And we are located in the district office, and we do enrollment and registrations, among other things. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what registration actually means. Registration will be done 100% online. We plan on opening registration on Monday, March 17th, right around 9 a.m. But you do not need to be on right at 9 a.m. There is plenty of time. We encourage you to make sure you have all of your information, all of your documents ready before you sit down to register. There is no rush. You do not need to be on at 9 a.m. We plan on posting the registration link on our district registration website. And when you're ready, you're going to go and click on that link. Please make sure you choose the correct year. You're going to want the 25-26 school year. Once you do that, you're going to be directed to create an account if you haven't done so already. So you'll create a username and a password, and then you'll be ready to create a registration application for each new student you intend to register. First, it's going to ask you a little bit about your student, name, birth date, other details like that, and then some family information, parent guardian information, addresses. And then it's also going to ask if there's any additional adults, trusted adults you want to list as emergency contacts. This is very important in case your kiddo gets sick at school one day and the school office is not able to reach you. There needs to be at least one other person that they can contact in case of emergency. After that, it's going to move on to health questionnaires. This is the time to tell us about any medication your child receives, any asthma, diabetes, seizures, all of the health information will be input there. And then after that, you're going to get to a page that has a lot of agreements. Our school handbook will be there for you to review, information on our technology policy, concussion protocol, all of that really important information will be there for you to review. And then finally, you're going to be at the page where you need to do all of your uploads. So I'm going to go over each of those. We will ask that you upload your child's birth certificate. Now, this has to be the official birth certificate. The live verification of birth that you're given at the hospital does not count. We are looking for the official birth certificate. We're going to need 2 proofs of residency. The first one, we're going to ask for your current Saline District driver's license, front and back, and then 1 other approved proof of residency. The easiest item for you to use is your current utility bill. That would be something within the last 2 months, like your DTE bill. If you don't have that available, we have a few other items we'll accept. They're listed here. We can take your tax bill, a current bank statement, warranty deed. If you're renting, you can use your lease agreement with utility bill. Now for this, we do get a question all the time about people moving into Saline over the summer. That's fine, we can accommodate that. We'll ask that you use your current driver's license and then your builder's agreement or your purchase agreement for your new home, and you will need to note your move-in date. We will follow up with you once you have moved into your new home and ask for updated proof of residency at that time. There will also be a spot for you to do your child's immunization record, as Karen Hervey discussed. We need to see the full immunization record. This means we need to see your child's name, date of birth, and full vaccine history. Sometimes when someone pulls the immunizations from a patient portal, you don't see all of the record. So make sure you're pulling the complete immunization history. We can also accept the medical or the philosophical immunization waiver in lieu of the vaccine record. There will also be some spots for not required documents, but if you have them, please upload them. This would be something like custody agreement, guardianship paperwork, any medical documents such as an asthma action plan, special education documents, an IEP if you already have one. And then there will be a spot for any health screening forms that you have already, hearing, vision, and dental, but those are not required. Once you're finished that, you'll get to a screen that reviews your entire application. It'll let you know if there's any issues or anything that you need to fix before submitting, and it will allow you to go back into the document and update anything, fix any errors before you press submit. And then once that's good to go, you press submit and we will receive your registration application. Once you have hit submit, you will not be able to get back into the registration application. If you need to submit anything after that time, you'll just email us in the district office.
On that note,
can you go back one slide?
Yes.
All right. So that was a lot of information. If you have questions, we are here to help you. You are welcome to call us at the number listed there. Anytime we're open, Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4. In addition, if you need some in-person assistance, we will have an appointment request form online, and the link is included in this webinar. You're welcome to fill out an appointment request, know what day and time works best for you, and we're welcome to have you come into the office. We'll have computers available. We'll have assistance with English language learner issues. We can help you get through this.
Thanks, Sarah Ann. All right, turning it to Emily.
Am I looking at
Young Fives
Young
registration?
Five registration? Great. All right, so Young Fives is for students who will be turning 5 between July 1st and December 1st. So at this point in time, we are making sure that we have at least one section per building. As you can see from when we introduced our buildings, some of our buildings currently have more than one section, but we're committing to at least one section per building, though additional sections may be added. As we talked about previously, we have a preliminary registration window that starts on March 17th through April 15th, so we can sort of see where our numbers will land. If registrations exceed that available space in each building, we will have a lottery to assign building placements. When we look at that, we look at a few placements. Those would be students with IEPs. We look at siblings enrolled in elementary buildings, and we look at in-district students for priority in those building placements. We will share our Young Fives placements in mid to late May. If students are not placed in their boundary school, we would say that transportation would not be provided, but we would say we do have a spot available in Young Fives in a different building and see if that would be an option for a family, but without transportation. If that wouldn't be something for you, you would have an option to then be placed in kindergarten, because Young Fives students would also be able to go to kindergarten. Students that turn 5 between July 1st and December 1st are able to go to kindergarten. We just consider them Young Fives, so they can also be placed in our Young Fives program. If students are not placed in their boundary school, as I said, transportation will not be provided. You may switch your student to a kindergarten spot, and then they would be guaranteed their boundary school placement, which then, again, would be allowed to have that transportation. Secondary registration window would be after April 15th. And Young Fives registrations after April 15th will be accepted if space is available. So we have to have that March 17th to April 15th to see about registrations first and see what our numbers look like in each of those boundary schools. If we have reached capacity, then we would register for kindergarten and email registration@salineschools.org to be added to a Young Fives wait list to see what's happening next.
Thanks,
So
Emily.
that's what's going to help us with that Young Fives registration.
I appreciate that. So in terms of deadlines, Kenyatta's going to walk us through that. It may be, my apologies. Sarah Ann, can you take this? As mentioned previously, we have a number of events happening in the district this evening, and Kenyatta has stepped out to hear her wonderful singers at Pleasant Ridge. So
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, so as I mentioned, registration will open on March 17th at approximately 9 a.m. You do not need to be on right at 9 a.m. You have a little bit of time. We will always have a spot for Saline Area Schools residents. We do encourage you to register as quickly as you can. This helps us navigate how many teachers we need in each building and make sure that each classroom is ready to welcome your little one when the doors open in the fall. We do get a question a lot about current Young 5 students, and I do believe we answered that in the chat already. But current Young 5 students do not need to submit a new registration application. Instead, they will get something called a returning student questionnaire that will be sent out in May, and we'll ask that you submit that to secure your spot. Let's see if there's anything else on this. Once you do register and we have the complete registration and we've processed it, we will send you a confirmation email that has information on the next steps for fall. That would include information on when the orientation is going to be, open house, when teacher assignments will go out, et cetera, et cetera.
Thank you. Right, Mandy?
So the school of choice, I'm sure there's some on here who are out of district waiting for school of choice information. At last night's board meeting, the superintendent and Board of Education did finalize the details for this year's school of choice. We will once again be a limited school of choice, open for grades kindergarten through 12. Families who are interested in school of choice do have to live within a school district within the Washtenaw Intermediate School District. This year we will have a minimum of 25 kindergarten openings. Applications for families can be submitted between Monday, April 7th and Tuesday, May 6th. The lottery will then take place the following Monday on May 12th. And at that time, it will determine who receives the spots in the lottery. So basically the 25 kindergarten openings the day of the lottery, the first 25 drawn will be the families that get the spots. The others will go on a wait list. And throughout the summer, as registrations start to come in, we will keep an eye on numbers. And there is a chance that we will be able to offer spots to those on the wait list. Another note, there is sibling preference. So if you already have a sibling attending Saline schools through school of choice, the siblings do get preference in the lottery. And we do ask families who are school of choice to not complete the enrollment until they have been officially given a spot on either May 12th or throughout the summer.
Thank you so much, Mandy. Great. Moving over into screening information, Laura Washington and Karen Hervey, we're going to welcome you back to walk through this.
Wonderful. So you can see the dates that our screenings, kindergarten screenings are going to be offered. And Pleasant Ridge looks like it's going to be August 5th and 6th, Woodland Meadows, August 5th and 7th. And as soon as we get those harvest dates, we will get those to you as soon as we hear. And typically it's been around that time as well. The one thing to note about screening is, for example, if you're coming to Woodland Meadows, but August 6th works better for your family, feel free to go to Pleasant Ridge for your student to be screened. Young 5 screening is happening on June 24th and July 16th. We're still looking for a location, but that also will be announced soon. So these are academic screenings. They're about 15 minutes in session with a teacher to assess academic, social, and emotional skills with the intent of balancing classrooms. So the intention is not to learn all of the kindergarten curriculum this summer. It is our logistically to find out how we could balance our classrooms. And that is really it. And so that is in terms of the academic side and social side of kindergarten and Young 5 screening. And I'll let Mrs. Hervey talk about the health part of the screenings.
Yes, thank you. So health screenings, what does this mean? The Public Health Code and the Revised School Code do require that children entering Young 5s in kindergarten be screened for hearing and vision. The vision piece specifically I want to talk about, the law does require that screening has to be done by a licensed eye care practitioner or a medical physician such as an optometrist or an ophthalmologist. It does need to indicate that your child's eyes have been screened at least once after age 3 and before starting school. This is not required to register. as Sarah Ann mentioned. But we do want to work with our families to get those screenings done because they are required. To make this easy for you in the past, and we hope to do this again this year, we invite the Washtenaw County Health Department in, usually during building walkthroughs or at some point this summer. We're trying to set that up still, but we do try to partner with them to make it easier for our families to come in and have those screenings done prior to the start of school. So that's the hearing and vision part. I did want to mention about the newer dental screening requirement. And this is new for some of our veteran families who may have had students come through in the past. 2 years ago, the public health code was revised to now require a dental screening as well for our incoming young 5 and kindergarten students. This is not required in order to register. But there is a form online. It is linked in the registration area and on the district health services part too. There is a form, it's called the 6067 form. So if you are seeing the dentist this summer, if you could bring that form with you. We did try to be proactive and reach out to our area dentists to let them know about this requirement. So we did share the form with them as well, but if you could remember to take the form with you, print that and take it, that would be great. Right now, even though the health department is offering those hearing and vision screenings, they are not operational yet on the dental screenings, but we hope to get that set up sometime over the next year. So we just are going to work on getting our dental screening requirements done with our families, but once again, it's not required for registration. If you do not have a dental home, please feel free to reach out to me and I can connect you with some resources in terms of dental health and finding a dental home. Sarah Ann, did you want to jump on any and add anything about the screenings? Or did I cover it pretty well?
You covered it just fine.
Okay, perfect. Okay, if you have any questions, once again, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for all this information. Before we transition to the next and almost final slide, I just want to direct our panelists to the Q&A. If you've been following along with the questions, there's about 5 in there that are currently open to be answered. We do have 34 answered questions already. So again, this is a great resource for all of the participants who are online in order to get your individualized questions answered as we're continuing on with the presentation. And this last bit that we have to share with you is actually an abbreviated version of components that we've included in the past that when we talked about what families most need in this moment, we wanted to ensure that you did have the who and what of who our Hornets are and what those teams look like and how those days go. We wanted to ensure you knew the how-tos of the Hornets, some of those logistical pieces, and of course, the registration 101. And please know that in the future, at those walkthroughs and through email communications, our social media channels, there will be a lot more information available to you regarding our communication methods and how we ensure that you have all the information that you need as families, our technology guidelines and how we navigate technology for our youngest Hornets in the classroom, how to get involved as a volunteer. There are so many different opportunities for family engagement, both directly within the classroom for certain activities, special events, as a part of the Foundation for Saline Area Schools is listed there. And then, of course, we have a number of family engagement opportunities, as mentioned tonight, with all of the different concerts and events happening across the district. So this information, because there's so much of it, we're opting to lean into the systems that we have to share this with you as it becomes more relevant and timely as we get closer to the start of the school year. Of course, if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out to any one of the building leaders who's here with you tonight and or any one of the administrators or via our Let's Talk on our Saline website or the links that were provided to you via that QR code, which I'll go back to in just a minute. And with that, what I'd like to do is go ahead and share with you the opportunity to ask some questions. And I'm going to turn it over to Jackie to help host any live Q&A.
Yeah, so what I would like to do actually is highlight some of the most commonly asked questions on the Q&A. So I think a question that comes up a lot is helping parents make the decision between if their child is eligible for Young Fives, how might they decide between Young Fives and kindergarten? Is there a principal that wants to tackle that one?
I can start and then feel free to jump in, Ms. Sickler and Mrs. Hughes, because we've all had this in the past, and all of I feel like our situations are very different. And so you know your child best. And so in terms of a July 1st to December 1st, as Ms. Sickler indicated previously, you do have some choice. You can register for Young Fives or for kindergarten. Some will say, you know what, I'm going to go to the screener and have the screener give me some, some details on that. And that works very, very well. Starting that conversation early and that collaboration is always fantastic. Some say, you know what, I really want my child to be in Young Fives. The eligibility date, of their birthday runs between July 1st and December 1st. And that is absolutely fantastic as well. So again, you know your child. If you would like, it's an individual meeting about that, I know we would be happy to meet with you as well to discuss that. But I know that there are definitely nuances, and I think Miss Rauscher and Miss Marion, if you want to talk about like some of the differences between those two programs, that might give people, a better idea of what the subtleties are within those two programs.
I'd be happy to address probably what I would consider to be the biggest difference, since I've had the opportunity to teach both Young Fives and kindergarten. Probably the biggest thing that parents look at is the social ability, their child's social ability to adapt to a variety of situations, and knowing also that the kindergarten curriculum is a little bit more robust than Young Fives would be. Regarding the fact that we have curriculum in all areas that are taught. And if your child has difficulty with adapting to certain things, or just needs another what we call bonus year of growth, a lot of parents choose to go with Young Fives due to the fact that there is quite a bit more curriculum the children are introduced to and required to learn in the kindergarten setting. I would say socialization also occurs in kindergarten though as well, and that is like a priority for every kindergarten teacher to have the kids learn just how to be a little person in a classroom and get along with others, as well as learn the academics. So there is a difference in the aspect of pace also. I think we have a little bit faster pace, I think, in kindergarten regarding implementing academics. And April can talk about Young Fives as far as the curriculum there. But so those would be what I would consider to be probably the biggest changes, is the amount of information and curriculum that the students have in kindergarten as compared to Young Fives, with a little bit more flexibility of introducing that curriculum in a little bit slower pace.
Great. Yeah, I would agree with Julie. There is definitely some opportunities in Young Fives for students to kind of do a deep dive into like some themes that they're interested in, learning through manipulatives and play, and just really focusing on the social emotional learning aspect. Our curriculum kind of allows for some opportunities to look at do some investigating, spending more time outside with nature. Those kinds of things are very prevalent in Young Fives, whereas, like Julie had mentioned, the curriculum is a little bit more robust in kindergarten, where it doesn't, it's just moving at a little bit of a faster pace. So.
Thank you. I saw, while we're on the Young Fives topic, I saw some questions and answers in the chat too that feel worth highlighting, that this year we do not have school of choice spaces available for Young Fives, but we are happy to welcome a minimum of 25 school of choice spaces for kindergarten students. So that is a change from previous years. That's probably worth mentioning out loud if you haven't been following along in the Q&A, which we do not expect. Just to help everybody out, we will post a recording of this webinar to our website by the end of the week. And we will also post a summary of all the information that we shared in the Q&A to our website as well. So you can find all of that information. I saw some questions about health screenings. Karen, is there anything else that you'd like to touch on that felt like a frequently asked question?
Sorry, I was looking for my unmute button. I want to answer them. Sarah Ann was so quick. I don't know where you are, Sarah Ann, but you answered them very quick. There were some questions if the screenings were required for both young fives and kindergartens and the kindergartners. The answer to that is yes. The health screenings are required for both. The dental screening question, how recent does that documentation need to be? The law states within the last 6 months. So, and we can get that dental screening form in any time during the school year up until May. So we will accept that at any time. So if you can't get in to see your dentist right now, we still have time for that piece. But 6 months before the first day of school, if you are submitting a dental screening form is what the law says. Thank you.
I'm just looking at the remaining questions as we're coming close to 7:30 that are in the Q&A. Julie, could you speak to the basic education requirements for kindergarten? The question is ability to use the bathroom by oneself, counting by to a certain limit, reciting the alphabet, etc. And I'll just record some notes to answer that.
Sure, no problem. They're not required to have, that's one of the reasons why the screener is done in August. And if you are a young fives parent, just to put this before I talk about the rest of it, if you are a young five parent and you have your child enrolled in young fives currently, we do ask that they, even though the registration forms will be sent, I saw to you, and they are registered for kindergarten, we do ask that the kids that were in Young Fives this year also attend the kindergarten screener to sign up for a time. Because one of the questions that you just asked is there academic requirements? There aren't academic requirements. A lot of students come from a lot of diverse levels of entering school. Some have had school, some have had many years of preschool, some have done home programs. And so that screener is really helpful for the teachers to meet the kids, give them some very basic foundation information about, regular counting, identifying letters, the sounds, and then taking that information to be able to give to the principals to place the children in classrooms so that they are in the best fit for them. That being said, one of the other questions was, and I think this was addressed earlier, but they do require them to be able to at least go into the bathroom by themselves and to use the restroom unless there are specific skills that are, in a child's IEP or a Section 504 that would require adaptations for the teacher to assist with those things. But otherwise, they're not required to have any basic foundation. Most of the kids come in with some, but the goal is to take every child where they're at and to move them along according to their ability and the pace that they need to have for themselves.
Thank you, Julie. All right.
I see some questions about the screenings. I think what Julie shared is so important, and we take some of that data seriously, and we look at that for the classes and all of those pieces. And we also realize that those dates will not work for all families because they may be out of town or may not be able to make it for that. And so I just want to share for the families that cannot get to the screening for those for various reasons, that our teachers are able to get some of that data and some of that information with students when they meet them when school starts. And so if there are times because of vacations and other reasons, they can't come to the other times in the other buildings, that our teachers are able to get that information when school starts. I see a couple of those questions have popped up, so I want to be able to note that here publicly.
I see a couple more unanswered. One is, if a child is bored in young fives, can they be moved up to kindergarten? Anyone want to take that one quick?
I can take that one. Yes, we've definitely moved, at least I know I have moved students in the past. And so we obviously want to make sure that that is a good fit for your child and your family. So I would say yes is the short answer. And we would probably have a few conversations about it as well.
Thanks, Laura. All right, and then last question, as we're getting to 7:30 here. Is there something you would suggest we can focus on as parents to prepare our kids to be ready for school, especially academically? There's somebody who would like to start with an answer to that, and I'll type it in.
I can start with that. I mean, I think with any, like I said, with any child, you're gonna take your child where they're at. Obviously, reading to them is a great thing to do. You know, just regular counting, doing day-to-day types of things. If they're helping you, you know, they count how many you know, pieces of laundry they're helping you put in the washer. I mean, very simple day-to-day things that you do with them anyway, pointing out, you know, things to them as far as in their environment, shapes, those types of things, just basic types of skills. But if I had to pick a couple of things that if you want to know, I would say introducing and them to the letters and the sounds that the letters make, and just your basic, you know, one-to-one counting of objects and things, and rote counting, you know, as far as they can go. So a lot of that will be taught, and a lot of kids like to know how to write their names. So that's something, you know, parents think, oh, that's a great thing to work on, which is great. But they will learn all of it in kindergarten. And as I said, wherever they are coming in, that's where every teacher is going to take them and move them as far as they can go in the year that we have them with us.
Thank you, Julie. All right.
Brian has one thing he'd like to address live quickly.
Okay, thanks.
I'm all set. I hit the wrong button.
Okay, great. Never mind. And then I do see one attendee with your hand up. If you're not able to use the Q&A for some reason, feel free to stick on, and I'll give you an opportunity to speak if that works for you while our panelists are still here on the call. But to everyone else, thank you so much for joining tonight. Again, we will post a recording of this presentation along with a summary of the FAQs on our website by the end of the week. And we really look forward to meeting you and your students as Hornets this year. So thank you everybody for being here.
Thank you so much, everybody.